Joel Olson has been a meteorologist for 22 years. And if I can read these notes, he worked for the National Satellite Service and the National Severe Storm Forecast Center in Kansas City, some of which has moved to Oklahoma. He will enlighten us about that. Joel Olson, thank you.
Hello everybody. Really glad to see you. It's important that you're here. I don't work for OU. I don't have a doctorate degree. I've taken a lot of courses though. I really appreciate having a good crib sheet. I don't want to talk much about the science either, because that argument is over. Global warming is a fact and can be measured. The number that describes it is called the annual global mean temperature. And every year since 1976, year after year, for 37 years, the mean temperature has been above average. Global warming is a fact, and it's getting into the weather where it stays for a long time. And the reason that is happening is that we are releasing too much CO2 into the air. It now contains 400 parts per million, and we must get it down to 350 if we want the climate to remain comfortable. So it is clear, it is obvious, that we must cut back on our carbon emissions. And it's also clear that doing so, enough to matter, enough to make a real difference down the road, will mean cutting back on our use of fossil fuel. We have to leave those carbon fuels in the ground, where nature has buried them. Let them rest. We need, as a national and global goal, to replace fossil energy with renewables as much as we can and as fast as we can. There are four main courses we can take. The first is to continue on as present, with yearly increases in climate-related tragedies and rising relief costs. This course is actually making the problem worse, with subsidies to fossil energy and industrial and traffic pollution. The second course is to adapt, to have people cut back on winter heating and summer air conditioning, to build seawalls and storm shelters, to gear up to fight the grass fires and forest fires and tropical diseases, to put up some solar panels to help pay for the increase in air conditioning that you will be needing. The third strategy is the first of these to actually address the problem. We need to mitigate the cause of global warming, to reduce CO2 polluting the atmosphere and oceans. We could do this with bans and quotas on carbon use, but rather than attack our economic system as the sequester did, we need to use businesses' skill at managing costs to accomplish this reduction smoothly, with the least hardship to the general public. Though the price mechanisms on carbon, as Kathy has just described, let the market do its job. And as a first step, we need to stop making the problem worse. We need to end all fossil fuel subsidies.
Hear, hear.
Amen.
Woo.
Right on.
We must welcome renewables into the competition and then encourage them with incentives and grants. Recent studies show that the changeover from carbon renewables will have only a slight effect on the overall GDP. There'll be some inter-industry shuffling, but the total will not change all that much because the cost of renewable energy has been falling so fast and the technologies themselves are becoming more efficient. We need both state and national renewable energy portfolio standards. These force utility companies to obtain and include more renewable energy going into the grid. They will soon not need to burn more coal or as much natural gas. We need to support homeowners who want their homes to be clean, green, and a good investment. To expand net metering to group net metering so that people can pool our resources and those with badly aligned roofs can still go solar. We need to promote the idea of net zero as the ideal carbon footprint. We need to tell our banks and institutions and retirement funds to sell their fossil energy stocks while they still can. All those coal and oil leases will become worthless as the conversion proceeds. And we need to start now, because it will be 30 years or more before any changes we make today will take effect.
That's right.
Already, there are 3 decades of worsening weather locked into the climate system. We need to create a political climate that will get our national, state, and regional governments to in place a sensible long-term climate policy. Global warming goes well beyond the political election cycle. We've run out of time to quibble and dither, to stay home, to stay quiet, to stay in our boxes. We need to make calls and write letters, to join up, to organize, to speak to our other groups, our clubs and churches. We need to act.